So it's very, very important that we actually spend most of our time down here comping in this area of the piano.
You know, I was always searching for that one voicing, right? That would completely unlock everything. You know, I thought if I could just find that one voicing, my sound would completely change forever. And I was always looking under rocks or around corners, right? I was like always just continuously looking, oh, I need more voicings, right? Well, that's a myth, my friends. And what I'm going to teach you today is about voicing and chord setups. But I promise you, when you use these setups that I use in all my gigs and performances to this day, it'll ensure that you always sound like a true professional jazz pianist, and you'll never have to look for other voicings again. My name is Brendan Lowe, creator and founder of Jazz Piano School. Don't forget to go to jazzpianoschool.com to check out all the other amazing free resources that we have. And if you are looking for some help or you're looking to take some next steps in your jazz piano journey, we do have a membership available, a lot of courses, and even live teaching programs from myself and my staff. With that being said, let's dive right in.
All right, so I'm going to show you essentially 4 different types of jazz chords that are always going to sound professional. These are the chords that I use when I'm comping, when I'm playing, essentially in every performance setting. Gigs, solo piano, the highest end concerts, literally everything. So the first style of chord is going to be your rootless voicings in your right hand and some sort of bass note in your left hand. So this type of voicing down here in the low end is great, like really, really fantastic for creating lush, rich harmony below melodies. And I say that with emphasis because if our voicings are always up here in this register, you're going to be right over top of all melodies. So if you're playing in a band or you're comping or you're playing with an instrumentalist or a singer, you're literally going to be interfering with them all the time. So it's very, very important that we actually spend most of our time down here comping in this area of the piano. Right? Whatever it is. So this particular structure is, again, just rootless voicings. I was throwing some tritone reharms in here, right, with a little 4, 3 tritone. This is A flat 7. But the structure here, like, again, it sounds so fantastic, and I highly encourage students to spend more time down here in this super low end of the piano because it's so rich. It's so warm, it's so rich, it's so supportive, and I promise you, anyone that you play with is going to absolutely love. I'll get to that in a second, is going to absolutely love this setup, which essentially is right-hand rootless voicings with just a single left-hand bass note. And don't worry, no, you're not going to be getting in the way of the bass player because you're not walking bass against them. If you were to walk bass, that would totally interfere with what they're doing. But if you're just supporting your own voicing with a bass note, totally fine. And it's actually better because you're emphasizing the harmony that you're playing. You're literally supporting your right hand with a bass note to really stabilize the harmonies that you're playing in your right hand. So that's going to be setup number 1. Essentially right hand rootless voicings. These are always going to sound good. I use them all the time. Now again, you can change the quality of your rootless voicing. So I was playing some altereds in there, some altered voicings. I was playing some tritones, right? I'm not going to get into all that today. Really today is about learning these professional voicings, the setups, right? And the system, essentially the systems and where you use them on the piano. Now you can find all the other information about the notes and the voicings and how to get your altered voicings inside of Jazz Piano School or obviously other avenues on the internet, but today is just about that. Let's go to setup number 2. Now, this is also always going to sound professional and so good. Again, it's a cream of the crop voicing. I'm going to take a right hand rootless voicing and I'm going to take 1 and 7 in my left hand. So if I'm playing a G minor 7, 1 and 7, right hand rootless voicing. But what I'm going to do here, this sounds good by itself. If you kind of comp through your voicings like this, it's going to sound absolutely fantastic. right? You see this? So essentially, all I'm doing from the last setup is adding one note. I'm adding the 7 and the 3rd in. That's it. And so I still have my bass notes. This is essentially a 2-hand voicing. It's a beautiful 2-hand voicing spread, right? So many people are like, how do I play 2-hand voicings? How do I play 2-hand voicings? This is all you need right here. And it actually, everything stems from this. This is the foundation. 1, 7, rootless voicing, 3, 5, 7, 9. But to make it sound even more professional, right? What I'm going to do is take my 3rd finger out of my right hand here. You see that? Because I'm doubling my Fs right now. So I'm going to create a drop 2 arrangement out of my rootless voicing, meaning I'm dropping the 2nd note from the top of the voicing. This is the 2nd note. I'm dropping it down to the bottom. And this happens automatically when you just lift your 3rd finger up. How brilliant is that, right? Really, really fun. So now I have these beautiful 2-hand drop 2s. Drop 2s don't always have to not include the bass. So many people think of drop 2s as being rootless, right? Drop 2s can be with the root. I'm creating a drop 2 arrangement out of this top voicing structure. That's totally okay, and it sounds good because I have the bass note in there and it's supporting my harmony. So if I comp right here in this kind of mid to low end register, the piano, here's middle C. This is still acting below the melody the majority of the time, right? Here's what that might sound like. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful voicings. Now, again, everything I'm showing you here is going to take a lot of time to practice. I'm not saying that, but at least you have a roadmap to the voicings and the structures that are going to sound good and most professional when you play or comp. And you can use all these in solo piano too. You can comp for yourself using these voicings when you take a break from the melody. So that's going to be zone 2, or essentially, you know, system or voicing number 2. Let's go to the higher end. Now here, there's really a couple different things you can do here, and these are going to sound, again, most professional. Your upper structure triads, I'm sure you've heard of that. These are great, essentially, shell voicings where you have some sort of shells to the chord in your left hand. Let's say I'm playing in D7, and then I have some sort of upper structure triad. I mean, I have a triad. Let's say I take a flat 6 of my D7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 6. I'm going to create a major triad out of that. Right, and I'm going to actually flip this though. This is a root position B flat triad. I'm going to flip this to 2nd inversion. And so now I've created this beautiful upper structure triad. Now it sounds so great because I have shells, 3 and 7 of my D7. I got sharp 9, flat 13, and I got the root on top, right? Now if I voice lead this into another upper structure triad, let's say I go to a D7, I'll just go through a circle 5th. So D, G, C, F, something like that, right? Here's my upper structure. Let's say I move down into my G7. I'm gonna voice lead my shells down here. These are all shells, like, right, shell voicings, upper structure triads. So from here, I'm gonna voice lead into another upper structure triad of my G7 chord. So let's go to maybe my A chord. So here's an A upper structure triad, and again, I'm flipping this into 2nd inversion, right? Now, the reason I'm doing this really is because I'm keeping my voicing more tight, closer to my shell. This type of voicing is still okay. But it leaves a little gap here. You see this little gap? Sometimes that can lead to unbalanced voicing. So if I did want to fill that gap, I could double the E here and just create a nice 4-note spread. This would be a beautiful voicing as well. But since I'm just truly using a triad here, I'm just going to flip my inversion to 2nd inversion of my A triad. See that? So this is my 2 triad over a G7 chord. So now I got my 2 triad, right? Let's go to our 6 triad of our C7 chord. Now check it out. What I'm doing here is I'm literally staying on the same voicing. So what this does is actually doubling the 3rd. It's all right. I mean, I don't particularly, it's okay. I mean, these are all, you know, just based on the spices you want, but I do have the 13 in here and I have the flat 9, right? So I got that happening. And then if I move to like my F7, maybe I'll move to, I don't know, again, another 2 triad. Here's my 2 triad. So I have a G triad. You see this? G triad and 2nd inversion. So these particular upper structure triads are so great. I mean, these are always going to sound cream of the crop, professional, anytime you're comping. That's one of the things you can do here. The other thing is you can now take your rootless voicings. This is the best way to start on your drop 2. So you can take your rootless voicings, and essentially the 1 and 7 you were using down here. Let's say you play a 1 and 3, or let me go to a D minor 7. Let's say you still have your 1 and 7. This is the same setup as before, but to create a rootless drop 2 now, all you need to do is, again, you're going to remove your 3rd finger, but also remove the root now. Right? So now you have a beautiful rootless drop 2. And so you'll need to practice these through the keys and through the 2-5-1s and your chords, but create beautiful movements with all your drop 2s right in this particular area. Okay, so this is a great professional chord setup sound. That's always going to sound fantastic. And finally, in the upper register here, a really, really nice thing to do is your left-hand rootless voicings with octaves. Now, you can use a full rootless voicing here, right? Here's an F major 7, right? Minor. So what I'm doing here is essentially rootless voicings in my left hand, right hand octaves, and I'm kind of doing a little bit of improvising in my right hand, just using kind of any notes from the chord scale, or you can just use chord tones if you don't really know your chord scales yet, right? Really, really great. The other thing you can do is essentially create 3-note voicings out of your left hand rootless voicings. To create 3-note voicings out of your left hand rootless voicings, what you're going to do, lift your 3rd finger. Lift your 3rd finger up. You see that? I'm going to lift my 3rd finger. So now, if I take that same expression that I used before, right? And again on the blues. So again, 3-note voicings, but these are based off my rootless voicings. They're based off my rootless voicings, meaning I'm taking my rootless voicing in my left hand for all my dominant chords in the blues, and all I'm doing is lifting my 3rd finger. I'm actually leaving a note out. So you don't need to learn anything new, which is the greatest part of my system that I use in jazz piano school. It's like once you learn your rootless voicings, you can actually start to remove notes. You don't have to learn anything new, but you can create these beautiful sounds. Now, my right hand's moving around on the blues scale with other different types of textures, rolls, and things like that. That's later. But again, you can find all this stuff inside of jazz piano school going deeper into these types of voicings and structures. But for now, even just having this kind of roadmap to what professional setups and systems sound like will really direct you in some sort of path that you can follow and work towards. Like if you like the low end, go for that. Start working on that. If you like the high end of what I just did, go for that, right? If you like this middle stuff, go for that. Start learning that. Because all of these, I promise you, they are all professional voicings. I use these every single day, every single time I play, and I always use them. You'll always use them for the rest of your career, and they sound absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Talk to you soon.
Want a clear roadmap for your jazz piano progress? Download our free Jazz Piano School Flowchart. This will map out all the exact skills and tools you'll need to reach your jazz piano goals. Grab it for free by going to jazzpianoschool.com/flowchart or click the link in the show notes to get it now.